Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Bunny Says, and we're here for another episode of Cinderella Phenomenon. Now, as you can see by the screen, or if you're not looking at it, we last left off at a flashback from young Lucette. Now, previous to this, we were out in the forest, and we had turned our back on the people of the Machen, not believing that they were trying to help us. And we met, I believe, Mithros and Varg came out at one point. And he was being crude and rude. But we we stood up to him because we realized that he's ordered to protect us, so he really can't do us very much harm. Or any harm at all, I believe. Although he is still threatening. But we watched him turn back into Fritz. He literally turned into Fritz, and the shadow fell from him, and and Fritz didn't seem to remember what was going on or how he got there. So obviously Fritz doesn't seem to know his curse at all, and has no idea that he's been changing into Varg this whole time, that his body is being shared by two personalities. It was after that Fritz says, I believe Fritz is escorting us back to... Fritz is escorting us back to either his place or the palace. I'm not sure. I assume his house for now, but the palace later. But let's get into this here now. We're here at a flashback here, and it's young Lucette, and looks like King Gennaro is speaking to her. And he's saying, "Lucette, are you alright?" "Why wouldn't I be? Your personal maid left last night." "Yes." "Is it true that you caught her trying to steal one of your dolls?" "Why would I lie about that?" "I am sorry." "Why?" "Because she betrayed your trust." "Impossible. I did not trust her in the first place." "But wasn't she with you for years?" "Yes." "And you were not at all saddened by her change of heart?" "She saw the opening to take something from me and took it. I am not surprised nor sad. It was to be expected. All people use others to take things that they want." Wow, that's really... Well, okay. That's a very, that's a very stony way of looking at things, I guess. Okay, we're here in front of the palace gates. Oh, okay, we're going to the palace then. Fritz is taking us here, so... "Princess, why are we here?" Said, "He really doesn't remember anything about last night. I guess his memories must truly be separate from Varg's." Fritz, "I've been trying to remember, but my memories feel like they're slipping through my fingers." "Why won't you talk to me, Princess?" "If I said I did something wrong yesterday, I'm sorry." "You did not do anything wrong, Fritz. He was the one at fault, not you." "He?" "When I opened my mouth to tell him about Varg, I find that the words are stuck in my throat." I turn away after a few moments, the gloom settling back on my shoulders. But after hearing what Varg said, I do not have the courage to tell him. Not yet. Oh, she's having a flashback of Varg. You think Fritz is some great honorable knight? Well, if that was true, his intentions would need to be good to the core. Then you know what? I wouldn't exist. Oh, hold on, I want to reflect on that for a moment. That's true, Varg was speaking about Fritz saying that he has some kind of shadow in his heart, some kind of, well, let's say, just, bad in him that allowed Varg to come into being. That's a very interesting point. And that brings into mind that, maybe all people have good and bad sides, Now there's Varg still speaking. Can't make something from nothing. Some part of your precious Fritz became me, princess. There was already something dark and twisted in his soul. The curse just brought it to life. And now, here I am. That's a good point. Now we're back at the palace gates, in front of the palace. There. Fritz, why won't you look at me? Lucette, have I been a fool to so blindly trust Fritz all this time too? Princess? Oh, okay. Mithros appears. Princess, you are here. Fritz. Sir Mithros. Mithros, the preparations are complete. You are now free to enter your old home. Oh, well, okay. I guess the gate's open, but that's interesting. How is it that everybody is supposed to know she's the princess? Or I don't know. Well, whatever. Let's see. Okay. Sir Mithros pushes open the gates and walks through. I take a deep breath and then follow after him. I have so many emotions inside of me right now that I can only even begin to pass through them. Before I take more than a few steps forward, Fritz's fingers curl around my wrist. Princess, what is happening? The look in his eyes is familiar. He wears the same concern and worry for me that he always does. He seems every bit himself, but he is no longer the same person to me. I'm going home, Fritz. I pull my arm away from his grasp and follow Sir Mithros into the palace, without looking back. Oh well, okay. Chapter 6, Resurrection. Okay, we heard another flashback with young Lucette and maybe her maid or her mother or something. Young Lucette, tell me the story again. Mother, do you never tire of that story, love? Please? Well, since you asked so nicely, once upon a time there was a queen who had a daughter that she loved very much. That she loved very much, yes. But the kingdom the queen ruled was a cruel and mean place. The people were liars and thieves, and it was terribly dangerous. The queen knew that the kingdom would never be safe for her beloved daughter, if she didn't work to change it. So the queen worked day and night. With magic. Hush, dear. So the queen worked day and night, and used her magic to take the bad people's energy from them, so they couldn't cheat and steal and lie. And then the queen made sure that the energy would stay with her and her beloved daughter, so nothing could harm them ever again. And the queen and her daughter lived happily ever after. She was draining their energy? That's sort of interesting. I assume she's talking about the Tenenbaum crystal. So, okay. There are 2 days remaining until my 18th birthday. I have been living in the palace for the last few months, and while it is not what I expected, it is still not so dissimilar that I am uncomfortable. I get to stay in my own room, and am served the same food as the occupants of the palace. Only now, I am not expected to share my meals with the king and his family. It was strange that nobody even asked who I am, not even the king, but that did not matter. What is important is that I am back in the palace. Only a witch like Sir Mithros could have orchestrated all of this. Now I assume he cast some kind of spell or something. Mithros. Okay, she's having a flashback. She's talking as Mithros here. Magic was all I needed to bring you back here. Convenient, isn't it? Who exactly are you, Sir Mithros? What is a witch like you doing here in the palace? I am your mother's faithful servant, Your Highness. But I do not recall ever seeing you here until after Mother passed away. Is that right? I did not work within the palace at the time, but once your mother passed, I took a job here to fulfill her wishes, to protect you. I was consumed with worry when you disappeared all those months ago. I suspected immediately that you were cursed, and that the Lucifer Spirit had acted to keep you concealed from me. If only you could understand the relief I felt when I learned that Fritz had found you. How will you prove that you're not like the people at the Marchen? That you will not lie to me or betray me? Sir Mithros kneels in front of me and places a hand over his heart. I made a promise to my queen that I would give you my undying loyalty, princess. I would protect you with my life. Him saying that does little to convince me that I can trust him. Everything I am doing is in service to my queen and my princess. So what is it that Mother requires me to do? Patience. I wouldn't want to ruin the surprise. Okay. We're back in Lucette's fluffy pink room, her bedroom. Okay. Sir Mithros claims that he is Mother's faithful servant. That should be enough reason for me to trust him, but I am still on edge. What is this surprise he has in store for me? My thoughts drift back to the occupants of the Marchen. They kept saying that they had cared about me, yet I have not heard from them at all. Even Rod, who lives here, I barely even see him. And Fritz. Since I returned to the palace, I have been seeing less and less of Fritz, and more of Vog. In the beginning, I continually asked Fritz about his memories of specific days, of the times when he was Vog. Fritz never seemed to recall anything. He just smiled at me sheepishly and told me that his age was probably making his memory worse. Fritz is even that old. Yeah, I was going to say, I thought he was like 25 or something. Since then, things have changed. I no longer bother asking Fritz about things he surely does not remember. Fritz does not remember anything related to Vog. Yet Vog retains all his memories of Fritz. I know I should tell Fritz about Vog, but it is the fear that he would not believe me, but also something much worse. I am worried that whatever it is inside of Fritz that will only lash out at me, part of him that Vog came from. If I were Fritz, I would not be able to believe it either. I looked toward my shelf of dolls, unable to shake my feelings of disquiet. The dolls are the same as always, their glassy gazes focused on nothing and everything. It looks so empty without... No, I do not miss her. I do not miss anyone. Right? The sound of footsteps pulls me out of my thoughts. Who else is wandering the halls at this time of night? I am unable to restrain my curiosity, and the emotion soon drives me from my room and out into the hallway. Okay, we're out in the hallway. I gingerly follow the faded footsteps down the hallway, and there I see two familiar people. Sir Mithros and Sir Alcaster. Okay, so Alcaster and Mithros are here, and Alcaster speaking. I grow impatient. Mithros, 2 days is an insignificant amount of time when you've already waited so long. I've been waiting years. The princess is safe and will continue to be safe, just as you have required. Our agreement was clear, Sir Alcaster. I will not help you until after the princess turns 18. I would remember the sort of aid you requested of me. Alcaster, what prevents us from killing Gennaro now? A small gasp comes from my mouth, and I am unable to muffle it in time, despite the fact that I hold my hands up to my lips to keep myself from shouting. I stop breathing even as my mind whirls. Kill the king? Why would Sir Alcaster and Sir Mithros want to do that? That sound. Alcaster, do not try and distract me. What do we lose by acting now? We could lose everything if we act too hastily. I think it would do you good to learn some patience from your son. No, Varg is here. Alcaster. Varg? Sir Alcaster. Mithros. Varg, what a pleasant surprise. Mithros smirks as Varg moves to stand just off to the side of the two men, his expression solemn. I trust that you have tamed Fritz. Alcaster, what are you talking about? You have not noticed? Even when your own son is being overwhelmed? Varg is gaining control, slowly but surely. He no longer has to wait for Fritz's consciousness to descend into sleep. In a few weeks, perhaps even days, Varg may be able to help us during the day. And that is why I have only seen Varg at night. If he can act during the day as well, what will happen to Fritz? Alcaster, I hope you're not trying to avoid your mission in staying here. How curious. Perhaps Fritz is stronger than you think. Varg, that weakling? Don't make me laugh. I just find this extremely boring. Varg shrugs before walking away. Mithros, how interesting. I do not approve of his methods. What would you have me do to improve him? He completes every task you give him. He has softened. Well, let us see if he completes this task. Then we Then we will know for certain where his loyalties lie. As Sir Methros and Sir Alcaster begin to walk away, I exhale. I feel a slight shudder when Sir Methros stops and gazes behind him, his eyes wandering to my hiding place at the end of the hall. My heart thumps loudly in my ears as I wait to hear him leave. Now, Mithras is speaking. The wind has a bit of chill to it tonight, like ice. He knows we were there. Mithras turns on his heels with a slight twitch of his lips before he disappears. Well, he knew. There's not much we could do, though. It's only a couple days till we turn 18. Okay, we're back in Lucette's bedroom. I make my way back to my room in a daze. My whole body feels weak, and when I eventually get to bed, I crash down on it, feeling numb. They mean to kill the king, but why? Sir Alcaster and Sir Mithros are two of his most trusted advisors. What could the king have done to make them desire his death? And why does Sir Mithros want to wait until I am 18? What happens then? Does this have anything to do with the gift he was talking about? Does Sir Mithros plan on using me for something? I clench my hands into fists and inhale sharply. I think of the other things that came up in conversation. They said that Varg might be able to act during the day soon. Does this mean Fritz will disappear? My breath catches in my throat at the thought. She's having a flashback again of Fritz. Princess? There's no need to look at me like that. It's my job to know you, Princess. Right now, I know something's not right. It's your job to protect me. Knowing me is a very different thing. Princess, please, perhaps you should worry more about yourself. My job as a knight is to protect my charge, to put their life before mine. If I can't protect you, how can I call myself a knight? Fritz reaches out as if to touch me, but I shrink away. Do not touch me. Sorry, Princess. Please know I'm always here if you need to talk. Okay, we're back in our room again. The flashback is over. If Fritz disappears, what will happen? I almost jump when I hear someone shouting just outside my door. Voice. Quickly, Emmeline. Rod? I quickly stand up and move toward my door, pulling it open to catch a glimpse of the outside. I end up opening the door into Rod's face. He comes to an abrupt stop and glares at the door that blocks his straight path. His hand is outstretched, as if he meant to reach for my door. Oh, this is Rod and Emmeline here. Rod, Emmeline? It's so late. What are they doing out of their rooms? Rod's fingers tighten over Emmeline's hand. They both look exhausted, and Emmeline is on the verge of tears. What is happening? Rod seems to consider something before he finally comes to a silent conclusion. His eyes glare right into mine. Get out of the way. Rod's voice is colder than usual, even for him. Emmeline's eyes widen as she stares at him in shock. Rod, but I thought... This isn't the time. Oh. Varg is here. Ah, so here's where the rabbits escaped. Varg? Varg is slowly making his way over to us, his posture relaxed. Expression indifferent. He does not even look winded. Well, this is a complication. That was Varg saying that. So we have a choice here. Move or help them. I'm assuming help them means Rod and Emmeline. Well, I'm not going to move, I'm going to help them. Is this the mission Alcaster was referring to? Rod tugs at Emmeline's wrist to prompt her into motion, but the two of them are too slow. In one swift movement, Rod has circled them and tripped Emmeline, toppling her to the floor. Varg moves forward to grab her, but before he can so much as touch her, I jump into action, pushing Varg from the side. I move to stand between Emmeline and Varg. I can hear Rod helping his sister up, but my eyes are trained on Varg. What are you going to do to them? Why do you care? Why do I care? Because I know this isn't something Fritz would do. Varg hesitates, giving Rod time to act. Rod throws a vial that breaks upon impact with the floor. Oh, okay. It releases a cloud of smoke that envelops everything around it. I feel someone's fingers at my wrist. Then I am being dragged away. When my vision clears, I see Emmeline standing before me, holding my wrist tightly. Come on. What was that? Rod. It is something Lady Parfait made for our escape. Our escape? Did you really think the Machin gave up on you? We must move. Oh, okay. We're in the palace tunnels here. We run toward the palace tunnels, a place I have not visited in many years. I thought they barricaded this. Not quite. Do you think we've lost him? No, not yet. Emmeline turns to me, her eyebrows drawn over her eyes in a look of sympathy. I'm so sorry you got caught up in this. I know that we were all meant to escape together, according to Rod, but we were not expecting it to be like this. Rod, it was difficult to get hold of you with Varg hanging around. But thank you for what you did back there. I don't know what I would have done if you hadn't helped us. I am suddenly uncomfortable speaking to her, so I turn to face Rod instead. What does Varg want with you? My best guess is that he wants us dead. Oh, really? That can't be. Rod, how else would you explain the way he came after us, Em? But why would he want you dead? Rod's bright eyes seem fiercer in the darkness of the tunnels. I think it must be what his master wants. After all, dogs only respond to orders. Varg, I'm offended, Prince. Oh, I knew they shouldn't have sat there and talked in the hallway. Should have kept on running. Okay, Varg is here. You! I whirl around, dread rising in my chest, as I turn to look at Varg, who's slowly catching up to us. This was meant to be quick. Varg looks at me, his eyes glittering with amusement. But as always, you complicate things, Princess. I cannot hide how much I am trembling, but I still hold out my arm to protect the siblings. Go. Emmeline, not without you. Go now. Rod, come on. The two of them run off, so, okay. I turn back to Varg as the two flee. My body tenses as I wait for Varg to move. I will stop him, or at least buy them some more time. But Varg remains still as a statue. He remains rooted to the spot. I have no idea how long we stand there, frozen in place. Varg, you never cease to amaze me. So what's going to happen now? Why are you going to kill them? He's not answering. Does that mean I am right? Is this what Sir Alcaster ordered you to do? Why else would I be here if not for an order? Why would he want you to kill Rod and Emmeline? Why does he want to kill the king? You overheard quite a bit, huh? Probably a little more than you should have. The tension in the air becomes palpable, and it becomes harder to breathe. Varg's fingers tighten on his cane. He wouldn't hurt me, would he? Varg moves forward, and for a few moments, I am frozen with terror. Then a word I had forgotten long ago suddenly comes to my lips, unbidden. A word that Fritz once told me before. Adiuva. This time it is Varg that freezes. He raises his cane, but it never comes down. His eyes are wild, and even though he hasn't moved, suddenly he looks as if he is restraining himself. I can see the struggle in his contorted expression. Then I realize that he is fighting to stay in control. It worked? I remain still for another moment, my mind racing. Come on, Fritz. Do it. Varg drops to his knees, and I see shadows forming beneath him. Tendrils of darkness snake their way up his body, beginning to engulf him. This is what happened last time when he changed back into Fritz. There is still awareness in Varg's eyes, however. His gaze is cold and accusatory. It remains that way even as the shadows creeps their way up his face. Not so creepy. I find my feet again and rush past Varg into the depths of the palace. I run, too frightened of what I might find if I look back. Okay. Having a flashback. I'll do this quickly and okay. Fritz. Alright, there's a flashback going on here. Fritz, are you alright? If you are truly worried for my safety, then you should have told the king how unsafe it is for me to leave the palace. Isn't that a night's job, Sir Fitzgerald? Do you have so little faith in me? What? Don't you trust me to keep you safe, Princess? 3 years ago, when I swore that I would give my life for yours, I meant it. I still do. I would never let anything harm you, ever. Perhaps I need to make another promise to you, Princess, so that I may ease your worries. Remember this carefully, okay? Adiuva. I'm assuming that's how it's pronounced, or that's how I'm going to pronounce it. What does that mean? It's from an old language that no one speaks anymore. It's what people used to say when they were calling for help. Something to call when I need help? If for any reason I'm not there and you need me, just say that word. Scream it at the top of your lungs if you need to. I promise I'll come running. A knight would never break a promise to his lady. Trust in me. I have to go. Okay. We're back in Lucette's bedroom. It says she's been here for hours, unable to sleep, but we're going to break here because we're getting on past 30 minutes. And that was getting interesting and sort of exciting, actually. I'm starting to wonder what's going to happen to Fritz. Presumably, he's going to have a showdown with himself, apparently. But Rod and Emmeline escaped, I guess. We assume so. But, okay, well, I'm going to say goodbye here. It's getting on, we're running long, so thank you for listening, and I hope you be back and you can listen to the rest. So hopefully I'll see you again soon, or I'll hear you again, or you'll hear me again soon. Okay, goodbye.